3, 2, 1.
Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome to another episode of Wine. I'm Miska, and I'm drinking Tempranillo.
And I'm Jenilyn, and I'm drinking Merlot. Charles Shaw Merlot.
Ooh, Chuck.
Yeah.
Hello there. I'm Trace, and I'm drinking Winking Owl Chardonnay, I think.
I'm Shirley, and I'm drinking Corbett Canyon Pinot Grigio.
Fancy. That sounds mad fancy. Tonight
It was mad cheap.
Tonight we'll be discussing the unfortunate Las Vegas shootings, the NBA releasing a memo reinforcing a rule about the National Anthem, and we'll have an update on the voting statistics from the Asian population here in the U.S. Later in entertainment, we'll be talking about Kenya Moore being barred from casting, and then finally, we'll whine about it. Quick disclaimer, if you happen to be listening to us on your way to work or at work, maybe don't pour yourself a glass of wine. But if you're not driving home from work or you're sitting comfy somewhere, go ahead and pause while you pour yourself your favorite glass. Or if you don't drink, pour a beverage of your choice. Remember to always drink responsibly. Relax and join us for some wine. Now let's get sipping.
We're gonna do it
On this already filled glass. Just gonna keep adding to it.
Okay.
All
right. So let's get into it. Another episode of Wine. This is exciting. This is our
episode
third
3?
episode. Episode 3.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
No. All right.
So
let's kick it off in a sobering
somber
mood.
note.
Yeah. Go. So Sunday night, October 1st, there was a mass shooting in Las Vegas during a Jason Aldean concert, which was part of a Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. The numbers I had from this morning, it was reported that 406 people were injured and taken to the hospital, and at least 50 people were killed during the shooting. The shooting, for as least far as like being taken to the hospital, it was through injuries and also the subsequent stampede that happened afterwards, with people trying to flee and trying to escape from the shooting. As of now, there's only been a suspect of 64-year-old Stephen Paddock of Mesquite, Nevada, and he is known just to be the only lone shooter of this tragedy. So that happened last night.
Yeah. And it's technically considered the largest mass shooting in U.S. history.
Yes, it is.
That's like official.
That's official. It's been the largest one.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it looked like the crowd was of 22,000 people, and Paddock was in the Mandalay Bay Hotel on the 32nd floor, and that's where he was shooting from. Officers found at least 8, but then now I just think that it was up to 10 weapons, including multiple long rifles and military-style weapons in the hotel. So 18 weapons in his hotel lobby, or hotel room, sorry. Let's see, what else did I have on that? Also, he was killed, but again, this was all from this morning that I found, but it could have been different by now. They can't confirm it was self-inflicted gunshot wound, but they said that he was, as the police went into his room, he killed himself, maybe? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I don't think, because when I was looking briefly at updates this morning, it was the police killed him. So yeah, I don't, and I'm sure we'll get more information as the days go by. You know, that's what always happens with these tragedies. Information slowly leaks in. So if we have any major updates, we'll definitely share that.
I have a couple. Sorry.
Go for it.
Like looking at my phone. So as of now, they've interviewed the perpetrator, murderer. What do I call him?
Interviewed him when?
They interviewed his brother, and he said
Oh,
that
yeah.
to their knowledge,
I was like,
oh no, but he died, so that's not.
like, do I say like the murderer, the shooter,
the shooter's brother.
Yeah, so the shooter's
Okay.
brother, they interviewed him, and he was saying that like he has no, like, he's not a part of any type of like white supremacy organization or anything like that. He doesn't have any type of military background or anything, to his knowledge. That's all. Just wanted to put that out there. So in case people start thinking that as of now, but this could also be, things could happen later on. But as of now, that's what we know.
And there was also no information tying him to any international terrorist groups as well. So I didn't realize. So he has no military background at all.
No.
Okay. So hopefully we'll have more updates. If anyone else has anything else they want to say, I do want to quickly say that obviously our hearts and thoughts are with the families of this tragedy. Hopefully those who are injured in the hospital can recover soon. Their physical injuries will heal, but I'm sure it's going to be a traumatic, and it has been a traumatic situation for everyone involved. And I think that's what sucks the most is, like I said, the physical stuff will heal, but mentally and emotionally, it's going to be a really, really long road for the individuals that were there and their families.
Most definitely.
Yep.
Oh, I also want to give a shout out, or like, I don't know, to all the brave like victims who were able to get in front of a news camera today and give an interview. My heart goes out to you. I saw the couple interviews that I did see. These people were, you can clearly tell they were traumatized by the incident, and they were like still shaking and crying and trying their best to like put on a good face and like answers these questions, like the questions that the reporters were asking them. So just even like them for being so brave enough, or even like wanting to discuss that at that time when they could have definitely took that time for themselves to kind of just take a step back, since they literally just saw all the stuff going on.
On that somber note, let's try to lighten things up a little bit. And I guess the NBA released a memo reinforcing the rules that players and coaches must stand for the national anthem. Huh.
I didn't hear anything about this.
Neither did I. I heard about the high school students. And high school students, their coaches, high school, I think, and college, their coaches like put out a memo to their athletes being like, you must stand because we're not being a part of any of this, which pisses me off because teenagers, their voices are never heard and we're just going to keep silencing them. But anyway, that's a whole other debate to get into.
So, it was actually ESPN .com is reporting this, as well as I watched Saturday Night Live over the weekend, and the Weekend News Update also discussed this. So amidst all of that, everything that's going on, so just to recap about last week, we discussed Donald Trump and his tirade over why people should not, how it's disrespectful to the flag for people to kneel as a sign of protest. And so now the NBA is pretty much, I want to say, taking that right away from the players, or they're giving them the choice, but telling them that like there's going to be some consequences possibly for not standing during the national anthem.
Can they do that though? I don't know. I just feel like it's your right to protest, right? So I feel like putting that stipulation and saying that you have to stand for the national anthem, I feel like it's illegal, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. I'm just speculating over here, but it doesn't seem like it's like
what
putting
aspect
it
is illegal,
or like telling your players that you have to stand for the national anthem. Like I feel like it's something that you can't.
It feels like something that would like violate like freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But these sports teams have a lot of stipulations in terms of conduct and conduct of the athletes. So they could technically make that argument. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a sports team owner, but I'm pretty sure they can technically make the argument that it falls under like appropriate conduct of their like the what is it? I'm not getting the phrasing right, but it's like something about code of conduct and like
it's in their contract basically.
Yeah. So they can basically like I think they can have like a ruling and a stance on that because it's how they're representing the team. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of like individual players can't make connections and network with organizations like Big Sister or Big Brother, Big Sister, but like the team and the organization as a whole is the one that makes those negotiations. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So in this one,
it's not right, but
yeah. So in this article from ESPN.com, the memo stated that the players do not have the discretion to waive their rules, to waive those rules. As players, coaches, the staff, everyone has to stand for the anthem, but they haven't talked about what that discipline will be for the rule violation. And then I don't know if you guys did look at Saturday Night Live over the weekend, but I think it's Michael Che, I want to say. He cracked the joke and it was kind of hilarious and pretty true. He's like, the NBA league is like 140% black. So like, if you do enforce this rule, so you're going to suspend, so you're going to have no basketball season this year if everyone decides to like do this, right?
That's what
the other athletes are African American.
Right. That's what I was kind of like going down that road too. And I just feel like the owners would have, be sided with the players because there are so many people already protesting for it.
And then also just keeping in mind what the protest is about. Like it's about racial inequalities and disparities. And so that's their right to do. I agree with you, Jen. I'm not a lawyer either, but like I agree that's their right to not stand if they don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
I also feel like the athletes are going to get very creative this season.
I think so too.
They tend to do that, especially like with the shirts that they wear, or like I think with the Sterling LA Clippers situation, how like the LA Clippers like turned their jerseys inside out because they're like, we're not really the Clippers, we don't support this.
Right.
All the like warm-up jerseys and shirts, people writing on their shoes.
If I was
shoes,
haircuts. So I mean, even if they don't necessarily stand, I feel like they're still going to come up with some creative way.
I would. If I was an NBA player, I'd get super creative. I'd be like, I'll just stand on one leg. I'm technically standing. So now we all look foolish standing on one leg on the sidelines.
I was tying my shoe while the anthem was playing.
Right.
But I don't.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Or like turn around. You can always like turn away from like the flag, but you're still technically standing.
Yeah.
Oh,
true.
Ooh, that would be good if they turn their backs.
Turn their backs on it.
Yep.
It's super creative.
That would be like such a powerful thing to see,
right?
Too. Man.
Or taking the old school, like the Olympics, and while they like doing the national anthem, holding the fist up in the air. What? I'm saying, guys, we gave you all these ideas.
I know.
Right. Anybody in the NBA, NFL listening to us?
We have a lot of NBA listeners up in here. So feel free to take our advice. Just make sure, give us a shout out as you're doing it.
Exactly. Shout out to the ladies of wine.
We'll get you some wine merch. We'll get you some t-shirts,
Our imaginary wine t-shirts.
We're shipping them out tomorrow morning. It's
gonna be
just
great.
in time for Thursday night football.
Right.
We got it.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this one is going to be an update for me since I was called out last week's episode about how the Asians voted in the 26 election versus Trump and Hillary. So according to NPR, there was 2 different polls. The first one was during a national exit poll and Edison Research. 65% voted for Clinton and 27% voted for Trump. And then the second one was done. 14,000 people surveyed, and it was with the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund, and 79% voted for Clinton and 18% voted for Trump. Okay. So those numbers are better, so we're gonna go with that one. And that's it for the Asian correspondent.
Thank you, Asian correspondent.
You're
Jenna
welcome. Thank you so much. Again, that's it for me.
And you notice the pattern that it's people of color who showed up for Hillary and not the other ones, but we won't judge you for it.
The other ones. What was that, Miska?
I was just telling Treese to speak for herself about
I am. This is all my opinion, guys. This is not based on any research or nothing. This is just me.
Again, we're not lawyers.
These are our insights, but really they're just our opinions and feelings about things.
I guess.
I'm still feeling fired up from getting those votes. I feel like I'm in my car on that fateful day all over again. So.
A side note, actually, have you or Jenna Lynn gotten into the book? What happened? Hillary's book? No. Okay.
Well, what happened?
I got into it some more. I'm just slowly going through it. If anything, I can say that she sounds really personable, and it kind of makes it an easier read. She can be kind of funny on it. It's just right now it's still kind of the depressing, and now she's starting to get into the pointing fingers situation, which I'm not really cool about. So yeah, again, we'll update this in a month.
I'm currently on hold at the library because, I wanted to use the library and it is a long ass wait. So we will be tracking that. I did read some of the acknowledgments or the epilogue or whatever it is in the beginning of the book. The book started out, I was like, whoa, this is a little sad. That's my take on what's happening.
All right. So I think that wraps it up for the news. And we're going to segue into entertainment.
We have some news regarding The Real Housewives of Atlanta, which will be premiering sometime early November.
November 4th.
Okay.
I think 98 Central. Don't hold me to the time, but it's definitely November 4th.
The first Sunday of November, I want to say, right? So TMZ is reporting that Kenya Moore's husband has been MIA and hasn't been filming with The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And so as a result, The Real Housewives of Atlanta production has banned her from taking part in the Barcelona cash trip. For those of you who watch or don't watch, each season the ladies take a huge cash trip where all the ladies go and all the drama sort of comes to a head. So for her to miss out on this trip is pretty huge. I don't know if of course it's Kenya, she's involved in some kind of drama this season. But that's usually the time for them to hash things out or fight even more, which we love. So because she's not coming, it's going to be really sad. So it's really based on that so multiple times she's been told to like have her husband film with her. And she hasn't been cooperative with that. So they just pulled her invite on that, which means she's also going to miss out on some money because you get paid per episode. And so if you're not a part of those episodes, then you don't get a check. So.
So wait.
So such confusion.
I don't watch it. So the reason why she's not invited is because she doesn't want her husband to be on this show?
Right, and she hasn't been cooperative. So just keep in mind, ladies, that the show is called The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But for the longest time, she's been single and she's been having all these relationship problems, right? Allegedly. Her air quotes. And so for her to once she got married earlier this summer, and so for her to now be in a relationship, like that's a part of her life. That should be a part of the show. So, okay, Miska.
But isn't the show about them? Aren't their husbands like rarely on there?
I feel like this is the thing with Kenya specifically. If this were someone else, I feel like no one would care. Kenya specifically is notorious for having these relationships with people that she's like basically hired and paid to be her boo on the show. Allegedly.
Oh.
And so she's always whining and crying about wanting a husband and wanting someone and this, wanting a kid, yada yada. And so randomly over the summer, she popped up on Instagram married, and everybody thought it was a joke or that it was a movie or something like that. So as watchers of the show, she ain't really got no storyline without him. And so it was said that I think I heard somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw his name out there because he don't want to be public.
A part of the show.
According to TMZ.com, his name is Mark Daly, and he is 47 years old. Sure is.
His zip code is, and social security number is.
I have no. Yep.
I just feel like
because they put it out there.
Kenya girl, I'm sorry, but you don't have the option. If you want to be on the show, you got to bring him on, because that's what we want to see as the viewers, is what dude was crazy enough to even marry your silly ass in the first place.
Exactly.
So I don't really want to see her unless she's bringing a man. And so I understand why Bravo's like, well, bitch, you ain't coming on the trip without the man, because we only have you here for the man. Because otherwise, because last season she had her house and all this other shit to focus on, but now all that is over. So bitch, why is you here if we can't see this mystery man?
Exactly.
So bring him or just leave the show, period, which she can't do because she ain't got no other job.
How did she get on the show in the first place if she was single? Can you be single on the show?
So you can be, but when she started, was it first? Oh my God, Miska, Walter.
Yeah, Walter the toe tuck.
So originally when she first started, she was dating this man named Walter, who she was trying to put like through the show. It was so forced. Like she was trying to force this relationship on him, talking about babies and marriage, and they had only been dating for a little bit.
Dating in quotes.
Because then there was like rumors that she like paid him and like set it up to where they could like work together to, you know, have a situation, and it backfired and blew up in her face because that leaked, obviously. And then the last boyfriend she had, oh my God, what is his name?
Matt.
Young Tenderoni. Oh yeah, Matt. I'm saying Young Tenderoni because she is 46 and he is like younger than us, guys.
He's 29 or 28.
Yeah. I knew he was younger.
Tenderoni. Love the tenderoni.
I mean, she's 46, so she's definitely cougaring all up on that.
And he's like very clearly someone who wanted a career in acting but isn't good enough for that.
Ouch.
Yep.
Like signed on to be whether or not their relationship was real, I don't know. They had a lot of like really strange and like kind of the dynamic between them was pretty abusive.
Yeah,
so that's what kind of made me believe that they were actually in a relationship, because I was like concerned about the stuff that was happening, and I would pray him putting nothing past reality TV, but I would pray that they wouldn't fabricate literal like DV.
Showing up to her house, busting windows out, stuff like that. Showing up to places uninvited. Like, it was very abusive, behaviors.
Yeah.
That made me question it. So she's been through some stuff. So for us, and I think the other shady part of it all too is that she sold pictures, like people.com had like posted these pictures of her from her. She posted her wedding on Instagram. Like, that's even more shady about it, because you didn't even give Bravo like the rights to that. Like, if you're gonna go public with it, Bravo could have paid for you to have a lavish wedding. Shout out to Nene and Kim, who had Kim, Candy, and Nene, who had these lavish ass weddings on Bravo. So we'd have liked to see that and get to know this guy. We don't know him.
Yep.
You on reality TV. Your life ain't yours. I'm just saying. I mean, it is, but it's not, because we nosy. You put it out there, we want to know why. So also TMZ is reporting that the producers gave Kenya that ultimatum: either put him on Housewives of Atlanta or get phased out. So she may be on her way out of RHOA.
Oh man,
Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah, bad girl. I just feel like
yeah, she was too dramatic anyway.
It
was crazy last
season.
Need
her for the shade and the drama, but girls,
sometimes she goes too far.
I don't want you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we got Kim and Nene back, so I'm ready for that.
Yep. So that's Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She sounds fun.
She is
hilarious.
Does she make the show? I mean, she's kind of just doing this to herself, so do they need her to be on the show?
No. Not now.
I'm like, good riddance.
Mainly because they brought back they brought back Kim and Nene. Kim is gonna be like the recurring friend, and Nene's back holding her peach. And then you have Sheree, who's always up in somebody's business and gonna spill the tea.
And is allegedly dating a man in jail.
Show is, girl. Oh my God, Mister, let's get it. How much time you got?
The hand rub.
There was like, she came in real close too, and then like, yes.
The hand rub.
Oh. We don't have enough time for that. Like, what?
So we'll
It's gonna go. Yeah, we do.
Once the season starts, we'll let you know how it goes. If we get a glimpse of whatever his name is, Mike,
I think.
Mike.
Mick?
Mark, Kenya's husband, or you talking about Sheree and Jail husband, allegedly?
Yeah.
I wished it was Mick.
Bring you guys updates and let you guys know what we think.
Okay.
Event reality TV.
So our first whine about it, number 45's reaction for Puerto Rico and his dispute with San Juan Mayor Carmen Yulín Cruz. And they were having a little fight over tweets. So she was basically very upset about the situation of Puerto Rico and how the U.S. and number 45 hasn't really done much about it. So instead of 45 doing something about it, he went on his Twitter and started tweeting, quote, "Such poor leadership ability by the mayor of San Juan and others in Puerto Rico who are not able to get their workers to help. They want everything to be done for them when it should be a community effort. 10,000 federal workers now on island doing a fantastic job." So that was my whine about it, because...
Did he forget that Puerto Rico is part of the United States? Did someone lose that memo?
He might not know. You're right. he might not know about it.
I like how he also basically saying that Puerto Ricans are just looking for handouts, and what the fuck? It was a hurricane. You need help. How can you provide community support when you don't have any resources? Because, well, there was a fucking hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it like federal jurisdiction for those types of things to help with that? You know, FEMA, you know, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's also blaming that it's harder for them to get resources to Puerto Rico because of this thing called the Atlantic Ocean. So it's not as easy as helping Texas and Florida with Irma and Harvey. So that was another excuse he used.
I call bullshit, because didn't Pitbull send a private jet to go?
He really did.
Isn't American Airlines working with Puerto Rico to send shit over there?
There's also a thing called boats. So
yeah,
you know, our Navy,
U.S. Navy that we have.
yeah,
capable of that. But.
Wow.
And then he was tweeting all this while he was on the golf course, like he was golfing at the time.
Oh God, no, he wasn't.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
That was a whole big thing.
He dedicated the trophy to the victims of the hurricane.
No, he didn't. I didn't hear that part.
Oh, yes, he did.
No.
Yes, he did.
You know, I feel like
yes, he did.
I feel like the guys at PSA, because I just feel like
Best friends?
Yeah, our best friends.
In our heads.
In our heads, yes. I just feel like how we continue to get surprised by his ridiculousness. Like every time we think he can't be any more ridiculous, he gets more and more ridiculous. What do the people of Puerto Rico need with a trophy tribute? Like what?
Morale.
Oh,
No, it was
okay.
for Puerto Rico, but it was for all of the hurricanes. It was for all of the. Not that made a difference, but I just wanted to point that out.
So they have to share this trophy?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's going to be a strong yes from what I.
Strong yes. It's an affirmative. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was my whine about it. And also it was, as far as his like tweets, I thought it was really funny. He tweeted this a day ago, but it's not about Puerto Rico, but it's about North Korea.
Okay.
And it said, being nice to Rocket Man hasn't worked in 25 years. Why would it work now? Clinton failed, Bush failed, and Obama failed, but I won't fail. I laughed because Kim Jong-un, he's 33, so 25 years ago he was 8. So, no, they haven't been fighting with him for 25 years. Or maybe he has. Maybe it was a really political 8-year-old boy.
Yeah.
But I think his tweets are ridiculous as well.
I have two more tweets to add to that. This goes back to him, the reason why North Korea seems to think that he is declaring war, where U.S. is declaring war on them from shit like this. Quote, I told Rex Tillerson, our wonderful Secretary of State, that he is wasting his time trying to negotiate with little Rocket Man. Save your energy, Rex. We'll do what has to be done.
Wow.
I wish I was making this shit up.
I feel like the heads of the NSA is like, why are you doing this to me? Like,
I think every head of everyone
right.
is like,
every government agency.
Don't do that.
The DOD, DHS, they're just like, why?
And y'all wonder why North Korea thinks that he's declaring war on them. No?
Who knows?
Wow. He's really sticking with the Rocket Man thing, isn't he?
He is.
Wow. He
Wow.
wants it to be a thing. Stop trying to make fetch happen. But
Stop trying to make Rocket Man happen. Ooh, podcast episode name.
Yes.
I was getting so worried because we've had this whole episode. I'm like, we don't have a podcast episode name.
So the next whine about it. Well, what I want to whine about is just the trauma exposure that's going on with social media and the news outlets. Like, I know I wanted to bring it up because just with the incident with the mass shooting that occurred in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So just with the mass shooting, all the different murders that's been going on, like, I am so sick and tired of people feeling the need to repost and reshare things.
Yes.
Like, just because you see it don't mean everybody else want to see that. Today, I purposely stayed away from social media or scrolling anything because I did not want to see the amount of people that were all over Las Vegas Strip running and trying to running for their lives, basically. And hearing gunshots. I am so sick of that shit. So can you please just not do that? Thanks.
It's hard because I feel like so many people get their news from social media now, not actual news episodes. What are those things called? News shows? Broadcasts. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
News shows, episodes. That is smart, I swear. But so many people get their news from social media. So I feel like everyone feels like a broadcaster and a newscaster. And I don't know that there's a way to police that.
No, there's not. I just wish that people would be more sensitive. Because even with the one victim that we had in Chicago who was locked in a freezer and she got killed. They were posting, like, they were resharing the video of her walking around, like, how traumatizing is that for her family? Just like seeing the one guy who got killed on social media, on Facebook Live. I forgot who that was, but that was
the older gentleman.
Yes. So just like those things, like we don't need to see those. Like we can, I don't know. And even I don't even just blame social media, but even just within the news too, like sometimes things, like I remember a time when these things weren't allowed, and now it's becoming such a like thing that no one's caring about it. Oh, and another thing, you motherfucking reporters, I have an issue with you guys too. Like, leave people alone when they are trying to process and grieve through trauma. Like, I watched so many people interviewed, and they asked the dumbest fucking questions. Like, how many people did you see running? Bitch, I'm trying to save my life. I am not counting how many people were running with me. Like, no. So just try to be a little bit more sensitive to when you're asking people questions who are involved in these traumatic events that's taking place. Sorry, rant over.
Don't apologize.
I'm so
You're being such a woman right now. Don't apologize.
Oh, geez.
Let's whine about how, women just say sorry a lot, and for things they don't really need to say sorry for. Like, they apologize for things that have to do with them, things that don't have to do with them, things like taking their time or having an opinion, or they can't do something when it's just about like, oh, I can't do something for myself, or having to say sorry so that they don't feel like they're going to get attacked by a man on the street. It's just so many reasons they feel like they have to say sorry just to get through life, and it's just, it kind of sucks.
Even like if they need to say, I can only think of like work examples, even in like work situations, if we're asked to complete a task of some sort, but we need to ask a question that the person who gave us the task didn't give us the information that we need to do it. So we'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, can you let me know the client's number or demographics, or whatever the case may be. A lot of times you're like, oh, I'm sorry, like I wasn't able to do that because you did it, but it's like not even really our fault. I see that happen a lot. A friend of mine and I were having this conversation about how she kind of put herself on like a 30-day challenge to like really focus in on how often she is saying sorry when she isn't, or doesn't really like, where it's not really like warranted or appropriate.
Yeah, I've caught myself a lot of times like going back and like I'll say like I'm sorry. I'm like, no, actually I'm not sorry. Like
I do that
like
too.
especially like if I'm if I'm just not feeling good or I don't feel like talking or whatever, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm like, actually no, I'm not sorry. Like I'm catching myself like being like, you know what? No, I'm not sorry.
I get it. I mean, I say I'm sorry too. And with you, Shirley, saying I'm sorry, but actually I'm not sorry, I think that's even just further explaining that that's instinct for us to say you're sorry, but then having that afterthought saying, oh, actually, no, I'm not sorry. So we should all take that challenge. Trying to not say you're sorry. I mean, if you trip somebody, then you're sorry.
But maybe not even then. It just depends on the situation.
Right. True. If you're actually sorry, then say you're sorry. But, yeah.
I feel like I'm always saying I'm sorry. Like someone looks at me and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Me too.
I don't know.
I breathe. I'm sorry.
It's like we're apologizing for taking up space.
Right. And it's like, but why?
I also find myself letting other people know that they don't need to be sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like when I hear, especially women, when I hear other women saying like, oh, I'm sorry, when they're talking to me specifically, I don't get into other people's conversations. But when they're talking to me specifically, I'm like, that's okay. Like you don't have to be sorry. Like I totally get it. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's something that we can all help each other out with as fellow women.
So I think that concludes our segment of Let's Whine About It on this episode.
Okay, sounds good.
Sure does.
All right. You can find us on Podbean and iTunes, and we're also on all social media at Wine Podcast. So please follow us.
And that's Wine Podcasts with an S.
With an S.
With an S.
Wine Podcast.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it's still going. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
In 5, 4. Everyone recording or whoever needs to.
I just clicked record when you started to count down.
I can. Okay, now I'm recording.
Okay.
Wait.
All right.
Wait. Okay.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome to another episode of Wine. I'm Miska, and I'm drinking Tempranillo, and shit.
And this is Miska's podcast.
Wait, what do I do there? Sorry.
Oh, man.
Go on, edit this out, please. I need to get my charger.
No problem.
At 30%.
This whole situation Trees is going is scaring the shit out of me. It's like going dark. She looks like she's running from someone.
It does seem like it's going at like warp speed.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, is it like the Blair Witch
Just
Project?
taking so many turns. Yeah.
It is like the Blair Witch. So many turns.
She was like, I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
I love it.
Okay. All right. So I think that wraps it up for the news. And we're going to segue into entertainment.
The background because I don't.
I like that in the background.
Edit that out if you need to. Wait.
That's okay.
Who am I? Wait, what am I? Okay, here we go.
Who am I? What?
Who am I?
This is some strong ass wine. Let me tell y'all. The other night,
the stuff that happened today and stuff that's been happening in the world. And
there goes Trace again with her Blair Witch Project.
when we were gonna start, so I want to
see all the turns that she's making.
So many turns. But I feel like there aren't that many turns to make in the house.
Right.
No.
Somebody want to say let's whine about it? Tia, why don't you say let's whine about it, since they're gonna be like, when did she just randomly come in?
No, it's okay. I want it to be even more of a surprise. I'm just gonna be here.
All right.
That you look like you about to jump in on Double Dutch.
Right.
I know,
or save the last dance.
on the chair.
Yep.
If you got